Hi, everybody. Jeff Marr with STEM School Highlands Ranch, and we're so excited to bring you what we hope is going to be a continued series of interviews with our STEM alumni who are scattered all across the world. And we wanted to just check in with them, see how their careers are going, see how school is going, see how life has been since they graduated from STEM. And we're so excited to have Cyra Gallano, who is joining us from Philadelphia, class of 2018 at STEM. And Cyra, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me, Jeff.
So going back to your STEM story, it's an interesting one because you were actually part of the very opening of STEM when you were a sixth grader, 2011, and then you graduated in 2018, went off to Drexel University, where you are currently going to school. You're also part of the material science department. Do I have all that information right?
Yeah,
okay.
You got it.
So a graduate of 2018 from STEM, and we want to ask you a few questions about just how things have been going for you since graduation. So let's talk about after graduation and attending Drexel and the Material Sciences Department and what that's all about. How have things been?
It has been fantastic. I was scared to make the big move from Colorado to Philly, and it's been great. I have really come to love material science, the material science program, and I hope to continue doing material science in the future.
Now, one of the things that you told me that you're interested in and getting into is batteries and solar panels and renewable energy. Can you talk about some of the studying that you've been doing about that?
Yeah, so I have been doing most of my research here at Drexel on battery technology and making nanomaterials for battery electrodes. So like synthesizing them in the lab and testing them in batteries, hoping to make the next generation of battery technology. And it's been super, super cool.
That's a really interesting profession, and certainly one that's growing, especially if you look at Tesla and other automakers that are looking to ditch traditional gasoline. So is that something that you think would lead you to your future career? Have you thought about your future career?
Yeah, so I'm currently in my fourth year of college, but I am doing a bachelor's degree and master's degree. So I have this year and next year to complete before I'm out of Drexel. And after that, I hope to continue working on battery technology in a PhD program. So
very nice. Let's talk about some of the internships that you've done along the way, because I understand that you've just completed your second internship.
Yes. Yeah. So I've worked two internships while in college. Both of them have been for Argonne National Lab, which is a huge national lab out in Chicago. And my first national lab experience was working on superconducting detectors for cosmology. So we were looking out at the stars and trying to detect different radio waves. And then my second internship, which I just finished up, was also with Argonne National Lab and in collaboration with MIT. And we were working on particle detectors, so for particle physics stuff.
A lot of advanced stuff that you've been working on. Interested in what you just talked about, the radio waves that you were detecting.
Yeah. So when the universe, first came into existence, it was expanding, right? And from that expansion, there's this radio wave that is being emitted, and that when you look up at any part of the sky will be there. That's called the cosmic microwave background radiation. And part of my job was helping to design the detectors for a new telescope that will be trying to get more radio wave detection.
Wow, that's really neat. Now, you talked about how it was hard to leave Colorado for the East Coast, and I'm sure what is a brand new place for you. How has that transition been?
Oh, I miss Colorado every day. I miss the mountains, I miss the hiking, I miss the biking, I miss the snowboarding, and the people here are not as friendly. But
I've heard that about the East Coast.
Like the hiking culture where you just say good morning to someone. I think the first time I did that, someone glared at me, so it was a huge shock at first, but I have come to love kind of the gritty hustle of the East Coast.
Well, keep spreading the positivity because eventually we'll catch on there, right?
Yeah, of course.
So let's talk about how STEM prepared you for all of this interesting stuff that you're doing that you just talked about. When you were at STEM, going from sixth grade to your senior year, what are some of the programs or instruction or lessons that you brought with you that you really see value in what you're doing now?
Yeah, I think I was a huge part of TSA when I was at STEM. I was president, I was state secretary, and those public speaking skills helped me to have the confidence going into college. Um, on top of just the total awesome experience of TSA and the culture, the community, and the project management skills. In college, you have a lot of work to do, and I think learning that time management at an early age really made it easier for me to succeed and go beyond the expectations of college sophomore.
Now, going even further back to 2011, do you recall what drew your parents to enroll you at STEM? Did you already have an interest in robotics and engineering at that age?
Um, funny you mentioned that, Jeff. When I was in third grade, I did my science fair project on batteries, which I'm currently working on. And so my parents saw that I loved science and enrolled me in STEM. So, yeah.
Wow. And then you just carried it all the way through
all the way.
So it's amazing, once you find your passion, you never know what age that's going to be. Sometimes it's middle school, high school. For some people, it's adults and later in life.
Right.
It sounds like you really hooked on to it at an early age and ran with it.
Yeah, and I think, STEM did a good job of like helping me to explore that passion and fall deeper in love with it because like when you're a kid you're like, oh, science is cool, we like set stuff on fire. But I think especially in high school I had a great experience of doing some labs in chemistry where I was like, whoa, I could do this like for a job for real. So yeah, that was probably one of my best experiences.
And you're not the first student I've heard from who says that public speaking in particular was one thing that they really found to be valuable in entering the real world per se. And of course, that's my background is public speaking and speech communication. But have you already been in situations where you've had to present to large crowds or present on Zoom calls and really apply those skills?
Yeah, I actually just presented at my first national conference this past April, and I was presenting my battery research results on a recently published paper. And I think that experience set me up to be a really good scientist because great scientists can do good science in the privacy of their labs, but the best scientists need to communicate that to other people so that it becomes important, it becomes relevant, and so that other people can actually use that science to do good.
So looking back at 2011 up till now, what advice would you have for other STEM students who are going through the same things, whether it's, maybe that some are close to graduation and looking at colleges, maybe your others are more at the middle school level, looking to high school at STEM. Do you have any advice for them in making that eventual transition from graduating high school to going to college and just really anything that they should be prepared for?
My advice would be to remember your experience at STEM and to use that to your fullest potential. I remember STEM was really hard academically, and actually going to college, I found some of my classes were actually easier than the high school classes. So take in what you can in high school and work really hard. Because then in college you can have way more fun because you don't need to be under the stress of the classes and you can actually, breathe and find out what you're passionate about.
So it kind of goes back to that old saying, don't forget where you came from.
Yes, 100%.
Well, Cyra, thank you so much for talking to us, and congratulations on all of your success and all the things that you're doing. We'd love to check in with you in the future as you continue to grow in your career and education. But thanks again for taking the time.
Of course. Thank you so much, Jeff. It has been my pleasure.